Hi guys, my name is Lucy from Japan and welcome to my channel. I know this is ideal, but I think politicians like governors and mayors and officers exist to serve for people and local companies to help and support them and make their lives better. And media exists to report the truth to the public. However, these ideas are not working in Japan today, especially in Kyoto. The governor of Kyoto, mayor of Kyoto City, and prefectural officers have decided to keep quiet about the current incident in Kyoto, placing the blame on a local small company, Arashiyama Tsuusen. The media has come to this victimized company affected by the incident and brought back various documents and evidence. But not only are they not reporting the incident, but reporters in charge of the case have left one by one and are no longer in contact with the company. Why is this happening and what the hell is going on in Kyoto? It is possible that one of the Japanese imperial family, Prince Akishino, is behind this incident, so the governor and mayor have placed the blame on local company and the press is unable to report the truth. So only YouTubers like me are able to talk about the true nature of this incident. I would be very happy if foreign media and foreign YouTubers would pay attention and share and report this incident. You can cut or copy any part of my video and report it. And you can also watch my video interviews I did with Mr. Yoshinobu Kojima, the current president of Arashiyama Tsuusen, the victimized company, and Mr. Shinji Ninoyu, a former Kyoto Prefectural Assembly member who was pursuing this case to the Kyoto Prefectural government at the Kyoto Assembly. The link to each interview videos are listed in the description below. They are all in Japanese, but if you translate them into your local languages, you should be able to get the main point of this incident. And I would like to take this opportunity to express my sincere thanks to Mr. Yoshinobu Kojima and Mr. Shinji Ninoyu for taking time out of their busy schedules to help me with these interviews. Their stories greatly contributed for me to understand the whole picture of this incident. If you'd like to contact the victims of this incident and interview them directly, please contact the president of Arashiyama Tsuusen or myself directly in the comments below or by email. I hope that all the truth about the incident will be reported from abroad and that it will change Japan. So today, I would like to talk about this economic incident, corporate takeover attempt, and money laundering in one of Japan's most famous beautiful sightseeing spots, Arashiyama, Kyoto. Arashiyama is a very beautiful place with large river, beautiful mountains, bamboo forest, and a historic bridge called Togetsukyo Bridge. When you come to Kyoto for sightseeing, please visit Arashiyama too. The key point of this incident is that the chairman of the organization that attempted to take over the company is a close associate of Prince Akishino, the first in line to the imperial throne, and a member of the Japanese imperial family. The involvement of Kyoto Prefecture and Kyoto City in this incident is also suspected. For this reason, major Japanese newspapers, television, and other major media have been reluctant to cover the true story of the incident, despite the possibility that a close associate of Prince Akishino may have led the takeover of a historic company in Kyoto. The media does not report the story because of the taboo against criticizing the imperial family. The victimized company in this incident is Arashiyama Tsuusen. The company has a 112-year history of preserving Japanese traditions and is engaged in the tourism industry, including cormorant fishing boat and houseboat. The organization that attempted to take over Arashiyama Tsuusen is the Arashiyama Cormorant Fishing Tourism and Culture Promotion Association. This association was established in February 2018 and dissolved in June 2021. I will call this association as the association from now on. The president of this dissolved association was Mr. Takuji Okuno. Mr. Takuji Okuno, who was the director of the Yamashina Institute for Ornithology at the time, and Prince Akishino is the president of this institute. And the two co-authored a book together in 2009, so there seems no doubt that Prince Akishino and Mr. Takuji Okuno have a close relationship. At the same time, Mr. Takuji Okuno is said to be one of the best friends of Mr. Daisaku Kadokawa, the former mayor of Kyoto City for 16 years, since their high school days. This story begins in January 2017. It is said that in that year, more than 10 cormorants died of illness due to an outbreak of infectious disease as a result of the change of president of Arashiyama Tsuusen. Arashiyama Tsuusen's president at that time was Mr. Naoki Yukawa. He was removed from his position in April 2020 due to misuse of company money and poor performance. A local priest who heard about the poor situation of the mass cormorant death introduced Mr. Okuno to former president Mr. Yukawa. The two launched the Arashiyama Cormorant Fishing Tourism and Culture Promotion Association in February 2018 to build a new cormorant house with enhanced infection control measures and to promote cormorant fishing culture. The chairman of the board of directors was Mr. Takuji Okuno. The honorary president was Prince Akishino, and the special advisor was former Kyoto Mayor Daisaku Kadokawa. And Mr. Naoki Yukawa, former president of Arashiyama Tsuusen, became vice president of this association. However, since this time, Mr. Takuji Okuno has took money from Arashiyama Tsuusen for various reasons. Probably most part of the funds for the activities of the association were funded by Arashiyama Tsuusen's company money. In a trial in which the current president of Arashiyama Tsuusen sued former president Mr. Naoki Yukawa for the return of the companies and accounted for money, the company's accounting book was submitted as evidence. What stand out in accounting book are the large expenditures of Mr. Okuno. In addition to travel expenses for inspection trips, etc., and food and beverage expenses, it is alleged that from April 2018 to March 2019, when Mr. Okuno was a director of the association, he received approximately 200,000 yen, almost equal to 1,333 in US dollars every month, under the name of Takuji Okuno Cormorant Fishing Research Fee, etc. About this money, according to the former President Yukawa's statement at the trial, Mr. Takuji Okuno, said to be the chairman of the association, he couldn't work free for charge. So Yukawa asked Mr. Okuno how much he needed, and he said he wanted 200,000 yen per month. But Mr. Okuno said he could not issue a receipt, so Mr. Yukawa gave the money in cash under the name of research expenses. But the money is actually a monthly paid executive compensation for Mr. Okuno. If Mr. Okuno did not file a tax return for the 200,000 yen per month he allegedly received in cash every month without providing a receipt, this would constitute tax evasion. We hope he is being honest in declaring his income. In addition, Mr. Takuji Okuno's son was also a member of the association board of directors and received monthly payment from Arashiyama Tsuusen as well. And this is not the only money that Arashiyama Tsuusen spent on Mr. Okuno. According to the court document, former President Yukawa gave Mr. Okuno 1 million yen, 6,700 US dollars, in the name of two Prince Akishino in 2018, and another 1 million yen in the name of Cormorant House Reconstruction in 2019. but the latter 1 million yen in 2019 was not for reconstruction of the Cormorant House, but for inviting Prince Akishino attend the Cormorant Fishing Summit held in Arashiyama that year, the appearance fee, so to speak. Prince Akishino did not show up the Cormorant Fishing Summit because he became too busy, but he did not return this money back. These expenditures were also paid in cash and handed over to Mr. Okuno, not directly to Prince Akishino. And the Imperial Household Agency said there was no such fact that Prince Akishino received a total of 2 million yen, $13,300 that Mr. Okuno is said to have given to Prince Akishino. However, in my opinion, the Imperial Household Agency should firmly investigate and give us an accurate answer whether Prince Akishino have received the money or not. The reason is that the accounting document showing that 2 million yen was given to Prince Akishino were used as court document, and it would be great disgrace for the Imperial Household Agency to have the name of a member of the Imperial family appear in court document concerning a financial dispute. There is no need for former President Yukawa to lie about this point, so either Mr. Okuno did not give the money to Prince Akishino and he himself took the money, or Mr. Okuno gave the money to Prince Akishino but the Imperial Household Agency is lying to protect Prince Akishino. Furthermore, the account book submitted as evidence in a trial shows expensive food and beverage expenses with the mayor of Kyoto and vice governor and police officers, revealing that the mayor and the lieutenant and vice governor were also entertained. Not only this, but the account book also lists tens of thousands of yen each for gifts to Prince Akishino, his wife Kiko, and their eldest son Hisahito. Mr. Okuno even had Arashiyama Tsuusen pay for his taxi bills for unrelated to Arashiyama cormorant fishing. Therefore, the current management of Arashiyama Tsuusen, which sought approximately 11 million yen, which is about $74,000 in damages in a trial for misuse of company money by former President Yukawa, was mostly accepted. And in March 13, 2023, Kyoto District Court ruled the former president must pay 9.4 million yen, $63,000 to Arashiyama Tsuusen for compensation. Between the time Yukawa became president of Arashiyama Tsuusen in 2017 and his dismissal in April 2020, Arashiyama Tsuusen's cash flow deteriorated and the company operated at a loss of 40 million yen, leaving little money in its board and bank accounts. You may be wondering, after hearing the story so far, why Mr. Yukawa was spending such a large amount of Arashiyama Tsuusen's money for the association, and why this was not discovered. According to the current President Kojima's story, there were 5 members of Arashiyama Tsuusen's management team at the time, but they were all in on it, all conspiring to switch to the association after Arashiyama Tsuusen went bankrupt. And not only Mr. Yukawa, but also all of the management team of Arashiyama Tsuusen were on a board of directors of the association. Even Arashiyama Tsuusen's tax accountant and lawyer at the time were giving management advice in favor of the association. So the Arashiyama Tsuusen boardmen working in the field had no idea that the company was in financial trouble or that it was in huge debt. In my opinion, they and their management team should be charged with breach of trust in business. But there was more to it than this, and that was the various problems related to the Cormorant House that the association had built as the owner of the property. In May 2019, the association obtained a construction permit from Kyoto Prefecture for the construction of a Cormorant House on state-owned land managed by Kyoto Prefecture. The association was dissolved in June 2021, and the owner of the Cormorant House was no longer in existence. So Kyoto Prefecture should have had the association remove the house and restore the national land to its original state. However, the communal house was left as it was, and when the expiration date of the state-owned land lent to the association by Kyoto Prefecture expired in February 2023, Kyoto Prefecture asked the dissolved association and Arashiyama Tsuusen to bear the cost of removing the house and restore the land to its original condition. The reason why Arashiyama Tsuusen is responsible for the removal of the communal house built by the association is that Kyoto Prefecture claims that Arashiyama Tsuusen ordered the construction of the communal house, and since the house is still under construction, Arashiyama Tsuusen still has ownership. Arashiyama Tsuusen refused to accept Kyoto Prefecture's removal request, and in February 2024, Kyoto Prefecture decided to take administrative action on behalf of the association and Arashiyama Tsuusen to remove the communal house and charge the association and Arashiyama Tsuusen for the cost of the removal. The removal cost was 9.9 million yen, which is $66,000, and both the lawyers of the dissolved association and Arashiyama Tsuusen claim that the other party is liable for the removal cost. So why did Arashiyama Tsuusen become the ordering party for the communal house, which was planned by the association? The issue of the departed loans and money laundering over this communal house is the most crucial part of this incident. The association was established to build a new communal house with enhanced infection control measures and to promote the culture of communal fishing. The communal house, originally owned by Arashiyama Tsuusen, was built about 70 years ago and has been used for a long time while being repaired. Therefore, the original plan was for the association to build a new communal house and for Arashiyama Tsuusen to rent and use that house. The explanation given to the boatman of Arashiyama Tsuusen was that the construction cost of the communal house would be approximately 10 million yen, which is about $67,000. And since this 10 million yen had been donated, Arashiyama Tsuusen would not be burdened with any cost. But the reality was completely different. First of all, it was not true that the 10 million yen construction cost would be covered by donations. The communal house was to be built by the association, but because the association had no track record and its business plan was inadequate, it was unable to obtain a loan from the bank from the construction of the communal house. In fact, Kyoto Bank refused the loan. Then next, they went to the Kyoto Chuo Shinkin Bank. The bank's loan officer said they could not lend money to the association with no track record. But since Mr. Yukawa, the vice president of the association, was also the president of Arashiyama Tsuusen, which has a long history and land, so the bank offered they would approve a loan if Arashiyama Tsuusen borrowed the money secured by land owned by Arashiyama Tsuusen. And then loan was approved. But the debt was to be borne not by the association but by Arashiyama Tsuusen. In other words, Arashiyama Tsuusen borrowed the money from the bank to pay for the construction of the communal house planned by the association, and Arashiyama Tsuusen became the ordering party of the communal house and would deliver it to the association when it was completed, and after that, Arashiyama Tsuusen would pay the association for the use of the house, which would be a totally loss to the Arashiyama Tsuusen. It is never understandable why Mr. Yukawa, the former president of Arashiyama Tsuusen, accepted this condition. The money borrowed from the bank at this time was 149 million yen, which is $993,000, and the land owned by Arashiyama Tsuusen is worth 230 million yen, which is $1.5 $53 million US dollars. So if Arashiyama Tsuusen fails to repay the money to Kyoto Chuo Shinkin Bank, the bank will make more money than it will get back in interest by just taking the land from Arashiyama Tsuusen. There is a rumor that the Kyoto Chuo Shinkin Bank loan officer at that time was the son of the former Kyoto mayor Daisaku Kadokawa. And if this is true, Mr. Okuno may have lobbied for the loan to go through his best friend, former mayor Kadokawa. When President Kojima later asked about the rumor to Kyoto Chuo Shinkin Bank and tried to confirm who was the officer in charge of the loan at that time, they neither confirmed nor denied that he was the son of the former mayor Kadokawa. Arashiyama Tsuusen is said to have annual sales of around 150 million yen at that time, and to provide a loan of 149 million yen to a company with annual sales of this size is a big risk. And there are also questions as to why the loan officer lent Arashiyama Tsuusen the money to build a cormorant house for the association. Regarding the construction cost of the cormorant house, it is generally said that the cormorant house can be built for 10 to 20 million yen. And even if this cormorant house is accompanied by exhibition facilities for tourists, 20 million yen, which is about 133,000 US dollars, is considered sufficient. I think the constructor of the cormorant house is usually selected as a specialist who has experience in building cormorant house in the past. However, the construction of the cormorant house at this time was undertaken by Ueya Kato Landscape Corporation Unlimited, a landscaping company specializing in traditional Japanese gardens. This company has deep ties to Kyoto City and the Imperial Household Agency, having planted trees at the Kyoto Zoo and managed the gardens of Imperial Palace, among other projects. The initial construction cost of the cormorant house was 50 million yen, 333,000 US dollars, which is already unbelievably high, but later it was doubled to 100 million yen, which is 669,000 US dollars in the middle of the construction, eventually reached up to 110 million yen, which is 733,000 US dollars. The market price for the construction of a cormorant house is estimated to be 20 million yen at the highest. And while even 50 million yen is too expensive, but 110 million yen is hyper expensive. There is a photo of the cormorant house, but it does not look like a building that would cost 110 million yen. And according to Mr. Kojima, current president of Arashiyama Tsuusen, the cormorant house is so sloppily constructed that it is impossible to keep cormorants inside due to inadequate drainage facilities, infection control measures, and hygiene management. It is interesting to note that although Kyoto Prefecture is insisting Arashiyama Tsuusen is the ordering party of the cormorant house, but Mr. Takuji Okuno, the chairman of the association, was the one who aggressively negotiated the price for the increased construction cost with the construction company. So, who is the owner of the cormorant house? If Mr. Yukawa had to negotiate the price, the story that Arashiyama Tsuusen is the ordering party would still make sense. But Mr. Takuji Okuno is the chairman of the third party, which has nothing to do with Arashiyama Tsuusen. If Arashiyama Tsuusen is the owner of the cormorant house, why was Mr. Takuji Okuno negotiating for the construction fee of the cormorant house? According to Mr. Okuno's email about the raise of construction fee, he said the budget for the construction cost is 50 million yen at maximum, and that if they raises the price, he said to threat the construction company that they will never be allowed to participate in the future bidding. But why did the cost of construction 50 million yen cormorant house jump up to 110 million yen? One possible reason, and this is my guess, is that Arashiyama Tsuusen was able to borrow 149 million yen from the bank. The association probably decided to charge and take the money from Arashiyama Tsuusen, almost the entire amount that they could borrow as the construction of the cormorant house. In other words, the construction company and the association may have been connected, and they may have dared to inflate the construction cost of the cormorant house to make it look like they were negotiating a cost, and then split the construction cost billed to Arashiyama Tsuusen. I also think that Kyoto Prefecture and Kyoto City should also be held responsible for permitting the construction of the cormorant house. The reason for this is that the location of the cormorant house is in a national park. Kyoto Prefecture has granted permission to the association to use this state-owned park free of charge. But this permission itself is highly unusual. Because it is state-owned land, Kyoto Prefecture has never given permission to companies or organizations built on it, the only exception being stores that had been doing business there before it became a national park, and even those stores pay rent to Kyoto Prefecture. However, the association's cormorant house is free of charge, and the fact that Kyoto Prefecture and Kyoto City gave permission to the newly established association is strange in itself. The Kyoto Prefecture's special treatment of the association does not stop there. I mentioned earlier that they received a permission to build cormorant house in May 2019, but this is actually second time they have been granted permission. The first one was in September 2018. The park is home to a monument erected by Japan-China Friendship Association to commemorate the non-renewal of the war between China and Japan, and this monument is built facing towards mainland China. The Kyoto Prefecture government required the association to check with the Japan-China Friendship Association to obtain their approval for the construction of the cormorant house before the Kyoto Prefecture government would grant permission for its construction, as the trees around the house might obstruct the views of the monument facing to China. However, in fact, the approval of the Japan-China Friendship Association was not obtained, and the Japan-China Friendship Association later complained to the Kyoto Prefecture government, which resulted in the cancellation of the first permit for the construction of the cormorant house. In other words, Kyoto Prefecture gave permission to the newly formed association to build a cormorant house on state-owned land free of charge, a very special condition that would not have been possible under normal circumstances. But the Cormorant Association lied to Kyoto Prefecture that they got approval from Japan-China Friendship Association in obtaining first construction permit. Normally, at this point, Kyoto Prefecture should never trust the association and should not be allowed to permit future construction. Even though in May 2019, the second construction permit was issued. This does not seem to be a decision made by the department in charge of the Kyoto Prefecture, and it is natural to assume that there was pressure from above. This may have been influenced by the fact that Mr. Okuno is the chairman of the board of the association, and Prince Akishino's name is on the honorary president, and Mr. Okuno is also a close friend of former Kyoto Mayor Kadokawa. In my opinion, Before charging the removal fee to Arashiyama Tsuusen, Kyoto Prefecture should answer why they gave such a special treatment to the association and why Kyoto Prefecture approved construction permission to the association in the first place. In addition, Kyoto Prefecture is claiming that it will charge Arashiyama Tsuusen for the removal cost of the Cormorant house because Arashiyama Tsuusen ordered the house and has not yet delivered to the association. So the house is still owned by Arashiyama Tsuusen and they are responsible for the removal. Arashiyama Tsuusen claims that the ownership of the Cormorant house was now moved to the association because Arashiyama Tsuusen already paid the balance construction fee to Ueda Kato Landscape Corporation Limited, and they never received the key of the Cormorant house, and the key is kept at Kyoto Prefecture. In addition, the Kyoto Prefecture government has not even informed Arashiyama Tsuusen that the removal of the Cormorant house has been completed, and they have only been billed the removal cost by the Kyoto Prefecture government. If Kyoto Prefecture insists that Arashiyama Tsuusen is the owner of the Cormorant house, it is strange that the company even never had the key of the house, and the prefecture gave no notice about the removal of the house. Mr. Okuno, the chairman of the dissolved association, did not appear at the trial of the damages against former President Yukawa, and his attorney handled the entire case because of the bad health conditions, but Mr. Okuno frequently updated his Facebook. According to Mr. Kojima, the current president of Arashiyama Tsuusen, every time he tried to contact Mr. Okuno to discuss about the removal of the Cormorant house, he was always absent and would not respond at all. In my opinion, Mr. Okuno is the one who is responsible for this matter and that he should explain the series of all allegations. That's all I'd like to say today. Thank you for watching and don't forget to like the video. And if you want to know more truths of Japanese Imperial family, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.